Yeah, talk. Good morning, good morning, good morning, Sharif. How did you sleep? How did you wake up? Is your morning ritual like every other day? Did you wake up, make something warm to drink, or join? So today I wish to speak about ego, and today I wish to speak out my mind for myself about being secure, secure, like confident. There's a thin line. I love to talk about the thin lines, but it's actually the empty space in between. But there's actually, I will keep it with things that are references to us when we are in our upbringing, and then we speak about thin lines. There's a thin line between ego and confidence. People that are very confident, people always tend to mix up the ego and the confidence. When you have confidence doesn't mean you have a big ego or you're egocentric. But when you're full of ego, that doesn't mean you can be a confident person. Oh, I'm afraid. I cannot do this. I cannot diet. I cannot put a weak no meat in my mouth. I cannot think this is your ego. I am this and I have that and I do this and I blah and my name is your name. My name is and I have the oil. That's ego. And the ego is then confident because it has, and it owns my house, my wife, my children, my dog. I'm in pain, that's why it's going so slow. This whole side here, something is happening. I don't know. Trying to screen out what is happening. Is it sleep? Is it this? Is it that? Is it other people? Accumulation on my body? But we will see, we will see. As I'm making recordings, preparing people who wish to sit with the medicine. And then I'm recording myself, and then sometimes I listen and then I hear the F word falling. Then I hear me talking about religion like a degrading way. Like, if you do not know this person, then you will have at once a problem the way I put tonnage in my voice. When I put emphasis on what I want to emphasize. For the people that know me for too long, they know this mouth doesn't come with empathy. It doesn't open and closes with, in the background, empathy. Oh no, you cannot do this. Oh no, oh I'm so sorry. Oh, what the hell? No. You have two kinds of teachers. One will nurture you, and the other will wake up, soldier. Up. Because when you are in the training, when you want the transformation, we need to put you in the discipline. And for me, I always do this with people because I do it so often with myself. Break the mind into nothing. You know, when you all go to India and you see the camels walking You see the cows walking, you see the monkeys, you see the swines. Let's keep it in India. You see all these things just like people. They're so normal. Trash people, animals all over the place. This is India in its totality. You go up the north, you go up the south. This is my experience. And then when you see this animal, before I used to look at the animal, and then I was always happy. Because why the elephant? It was once cosmology in cosmos. It was in the sky when the planets were in between. The sun was, and then you would see like a big bull in the sky, like a horn and a face, and that's it. And then if you look towards your body, like if you're a woman, you have your, I don't know, uterus and all this. Eierstokken, we call it in Dutch, is alpha. It's like two things going like this and going down. But look at those things. Doesn't it look like the head of an elephant in the representation of a woman body? Isn't Ganesha then the creation? God? Or something like that? This is for you Indians. This is for you religious people. This is for you philosophical people. This is the way if you want to skip on to something. And yes, they made God and deities from, but actually is actually representing nature and the cosmos. And then to make it into human concepts, then they break it down and they make it much easier to revert to divinity. So you see the elephant, the head, so many things. When I see an elephant nowadays, I feel very sad because every grown-up adult elephant just remember Rolo. They have a candy. It's called Rolo. And there's a little boy eating a Rolo, and then an elephant comes and he gives the elephant the Rolo before he eats it, and then he takes it away and teases the elephant, and he eats the sweet Rolo. Years later, this little boy is a big man now. For decennias later, he's a big guy with the same Rolo. And then the elephant comes, and then he gets punched by the elephant, because the elephant, they say, they carry lots of memory. They know so much in their memory system. So now, every elephant I gaze upon, and did a study in Holland for guides, tour guide, and then they discourage tourists with money to go to these countries, the Asian countries, to ride elephants. For good reason also, because if you ride the elephant, you have indirectly and are still helping directly the breaking of the spirit of this animal. Because when you're a small elephant, you're the biggest form of animal there is. There is no bigger thing on land than the elephant. So now you are a big elephant, baby big elephant. You're a baby elephant, but you're a big animal. And then they break your spirit. Oh my God, how do they break your spirit? They break your spirit by tying you up to trees on a rope. No, first on a chain. But for you, for you as an elephant, you see a rope, you see a chain, you don't see nothing in difference in the material than that what is actually happening. Your foot and the tree is in between, something tied. You cannot be from small on. As an elephant, you're being taught that you are not free, and then they beat the hell out of you. And then if you ever went to one of these countries, I think it was Nepal I was, and I knew all these things, but still I wanted to experience the elephant and riding him and becoming one with the elephant, because everything I come into contact with, I first look at it for what it is, and I make it small and I embedded it in me. Everything is already there, but only the link up from outside, from what is there really, that I can see now, I link up with inside. So I carry so much in this body. You know, that day we went on the elephant, there was a stick the driver has. As he sat on the neck of the elephant, and the elephant's ears were actually the steering wheel, like you drive a car left, right, and the foot you press on the elephant's ear. And then if I do this with your ear, what will you do? You will go away from where the pushing is. This is the direction. And then at the end, if you are still stubborn, because I was an elephant, they would kill me, lock me up. I would be a wild one, because even you hitting me with actually a nail, pak 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 on your forehead, pop pop, especially the frontal area, tak 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 tak. And then this mighty elephant, the biggest, knows it can kill you, but it does not, because you broke its spirit and you entrap this animal. So this animal is twice entrapped in a body called the elephant body is one, and in this survival reality, this Maya, he is then our prisoner also. So much fuss about AI, if they're going to take over. Of course they're going to take over. You're looking at your phone. Later your phone is going to be your up your usage, it will be the other way around. Because why? When something is much more AI than you, when something is much more intelligent than you, even if it is machinery, it doesn't take away what it can calculate in seconds that will take you decades. Because if you give it all the information and it can tap into it into nanoseconds, so artificial intelligence is going to put us in cages. Like we put animals in cages with all our intelligence. Like if you consume meat is okay, but the way we slaughter the meat that we consume is not. So much horror and fear. Again, I'll tell you, if I'm in the cosmos, I look back to my Earth from a distance. This planet beams out fear and hate, because with all our intelligence, just look at this world. And with all our intelligence and just 100 years of some advancements in technology, we broke this planet. And if something is behind the humanity in pulling the strings or not, still all our intelligence doesn't stop plastic in the ocean. Look around you how much plastic I am forced to use. Stop telling me how not to use some articles made out of plastic. If those motherfuckers see talk, this is I use the F word. So now I'll tell you, all you plastic gurus out there, stop preventing us from using it. Start working on where they produce it. That's it. I'll tell you something, marijuana. You can make planes and make fuels for planes. You can make plastic. You can make anything, even menstruation pads. Please stop using those bleach artificial ones. You have no idea what they do. So now I use the F word, and this is nice in this subject, because why? When I talk, it's like the stream of information opening up, boom. But this is then just the intellect, no trends, no this, no that, just sitting here and with all the experience and all this information that popped up somewhere along the lines, pop, 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 opened up. Then I sit here and then I use the F word, because I'm reflecting so much of myself onto the world, and I need to stop. If I just look at certain ages and my deeds, because I speak words all lies. Because how I now sit can also be a lie, because maybe I'm like broken and I still sit straight. But what I have done in time cannot be undone after time. So I talk a lot with my deeds, and if I look at my deeds, my life is full of risks. Even now, I cannot financially support myself the coming 4 months if 2 months pass and I get, like those securities as being insured, as having savings and this and that. Even that was never a problem for me. I just overbridged those things. I just bridged them. But what I do have, maybe not the financial securities, but what I do have is my pension plan. What I do have is my target. What I do have is already visualized 7 decades from today when I was 7. And then I talk, and then sometimes for those people listening to the tone and this and that, especially if you come in the middle of the recordings, then you're like, shit, what the fuck is this ego fucking this, that? What the hell does he think? Eating some things and playing all this and that on Facebook and this. No, no, no. I talk to none of you in between. I talk to those people that are just coming into it, into whatever they see as spiritual. And then you are in this middle, and then your intellectual enlightenment. This part I do not come touch you guys. And then I have this part, this part. There you have the people that they cannot anymore come around the communication, either cosmos or communication, either earth. Those people put tattoos of geometrical shapes. Those people put nature on their body. Those people put stars and put spirit. When you're just starting being spiritual, or you're realizing, or you're starting the path, either you had tattoos that all had to do with the superficial selves, or you had no tattoos. But every time you step into the reference of existence that takes this existence, this reality, and the rest in one time into your eyesight, into your sight, not your eye, but into your sight. This reference now is what you walk with. Without all these references and all of that, I was always born with a lot of confidence, risk taking. I always see that. I don't know. I sometimes sit meditatively and then I see some accident happening to me. This I have all my life. For some reason, the death has always been very much closer to me. Like in this body, I'm sitting out the time too. I don't know what the hell to do with it. I don't know, but I don't care also. Your timelines are all closed up for you. You have no advantage in knowing what you were before. The only thing you need to do is when things pop out now and you cannot trace them to this lifeline, then you will look into not only your past. It's not only a past thing you see, it can also be a future. And the past as the future is prehistoric, as the past was advanced technology, as is the future. They only take turns depending on the cosmos position of this planet. The bigger we're swirling around, like what we call our sun, the bigger sun, Sirius, and the cosmic bodies, the greater influence it has on awareness. Whoa, there's a nice dolphin in the sky. Nice, respect dolphin. So, there's a cloud. Mm. So when I talk, yes, out of my confidence arose my ego, my mind, my intellect. These were all tools for my ego, not my spirit, my ego. And then this still comes out sometimes because I do need the ego and I do need the fire element. I see where I am now, what my path is. And I'm getting more skillfully at all of these things because this 1.5 years I've lost so many people around me because I am processing and I am growing. And the more you grow, the more you outgrow of them. And then people come and talk in the back, finish. All those people finished. I come with the surface, and that is not that. And then other people I trust from the other gender, I'm your friend. And still you are this and that, and okay, this is all of your progress. In the meanwhile, as I am where I am, I just wait, and then I will explain also what is happening. If allowed, if permission is given, or else it doesn't impact me anymore. I am so comfortable being alone, so confident in so many things. And then when I come in front of a camera, I feel comfortable. I do not come to raise my ego. I do not come to this is all bullshit. This is all in this reverence, a need, an attachment, habits, weakness. And then I am in front of my phone and talking. Then so many of you fall off again because you are not there. Nobody can force you where you are not. Nobody can force you. That what I am, this warrior spirit I have seen it almost nowhere. Because when you're finished with this reality, there is the other side. And everybody is keeping away from the other side, and then you complain, and then you put up this, and then you put up that. But you are, and then especially in my country, you all are politicians. But never one of you really is cleaning up this, what you call your body, being opinionated. And then I come and I talk, and I see myself, my ego, and I don't like it. Even when I look at myself talking, I don't like it because this ego, this aggression, this fire element, they're combining under the spirit. But they're so powerful that this spirit still is analyzing, observing, third personing the shit out of it. As I'm looking from a third person, this is the mind looking because I broke it and I made it a new mind. So now I'm looking with my mind at my body and I see what is happening and I think, still controls part of me, this body. And then I'm looking at my ego, then I'm looking at the aggression, then I'm looking at the words, and even if it's the F word, still in the context I will use it, it will be a medicine. I do not walk beside my shoes. I don't walk with ego elevated in my system. What I do walk with is with the knowledge of my seeds. And I know I am alone. I was born alone, pushed out of vagina into this life reality alone. I will die alone. And the more alone I am, the more confident I am in what I do because my deeds are there. And you know, the only aim actually I have in Suriname to serve people the medicine. Any kind of medicine coming out of the earth, if it is a tomato, if it is a cup of tea I offer you, or is medicine. You know, this is medicine, and the only thing I do in you is help you clean up this body, and whatever is there for you as gifts of the cosmos is for you. In the end, all these enlightened people around that I have looked for years towards, for the many questions I had on realms of beyond this. My questions from small were never about too much about this. Then I look up to these people and I think so many times. One time Sadhguru said something like, we only need 100 people on this planet that are enlightened. Sweet child, come home. And he said 100 and I didn't understand. But if you go back in time to our civilization, you will see we were manipulated into this species. Adiyogi was an alien. Shiva, that was not a third dimensional being. Although he third dimensionalized when he was near to this planet doing his sadhana. And every creation story all over this planet, if you put aside the make-up history you have been presented, now, all these sacred sites they show you. And it took 7 of them. Adiyogi trained 7 of them that were the most persistent ones. And because 7 ones stayed, they were sent out. We'll keep in the middle all these speculations when you put all these stories aside. But the red line is the same. The red lines are the same. So 7 people took care of the population back then. So 100 people can take care of this population now. So even what you do doesn't matter. It is already being done. Generations before me, generations beyond me. And slowly the balance will, the tip of the balance will slowly balance itself out, and it will go the other way until it will come again. This thing is actually like for cosmic bodies is like a clock. And then they put it like the Mayans, the this, the that. Actually all the calendars is the same. When people reference you their knowledgeable side, their enlightened side, then they will always reference to information, and they will put the time scale of information before Christ and Anno Domini. That's nice. But if I would do my own research, it's 5,000 every 5,000 years. So again, there's a thin line between your ego and your confidence side. Thin line. And don't worry if people incorporate mind, ego, and intellect. It is their system. It's their right. It's also your right to judge if you are not well upgraded into both sides. When you upgrade outside, when you get the information outside, it helps you for the inside, for the traveling. And this, inside, outside, actually there is a drawing of, I realized later that there is a drawing for this. Every time I am doing certain things and movements, I look at myself and I'm like, where are these movements coming from? I'm tapping into something, and then the information is there, and when I recite this information, then certain movements comes out again. But then take the infinite sign. You take this as the center. When I did my motorcycle license, they make you make an 8 with the motorcycle without putting your foot on the ground, like a big ass motor. Then you make an 8. But actually, the 8 also is when I do this, I always do the other one. If you take these 2 circular movements I make, and I make them into a round, and I put these two, you will see it is like an 8 also, the sign of infinity. Infinity, because it just keeps on going, going and going and going and going and going. So outside, inside, above, below. You see where all this knowledge comes from. It doesn't come from books or this or that. Eventually, a lot of knowledge may have come from outside, but the rest of the knowledge comes from this inside. Because if you look at this body, you count how many bones are in the finger, you count how many bones are total in the body, you count everything, you make Da Vinci his Fibonacci or whatever psi, or I don't know, whatever, you will come to a mathematical conclusion. It's all about numbers. If you take all the ones, twos, threes, four, there's a curve. So, and what is happening? Everything is going the same, and we think we have free will, but actually, we do have a free will, only to move in a certain space of, of, like you're a frequency, and you can only move in this space. That's it. You can only move in this space. Like I gave an example one time, if you have 5 blocks, if you go from one block to the second to the third, people die and come back in the first block. That's why the 5th block is always empty for you to grow in, to elevate into the stages. But nobody is being replaced. No free will is that. Even you have a free will, like all of us have a free will. In the end, statistics will show always a curve mathematically in a graphic due to numbers. Because this whole universe, you can calculate every happening in it. If you would have all the information of all the happenings, and you would see in how many times in between, you would see constantly cycles. And these cycles are constantly there. So if you look at your body, you count every bone in your body. You look what is keeping the back, what is keeping the arm, what is keeping the foot, what is keeping the nose, what is the. Then you become so knowledgeable about this body that you are enlightened in this body. Don't worry. Enlightened people are not different from you. Osho, Sadhguru, all these people walk in a body that is almost the same mechanically, biologically. I'm not English speaking, I'm Dutch speaker. So, look at this body and everything we do, and every sound, and scratching the head, and something is happening. But when you look outside, you don't even see your own movements your own body is making, yet you have so much opinions about somebody's moving their body. I put my employer on my body and it hurts here. I don't know where it's coming from. The wound is healing. I smell like almost a dead animal. Like since I'm tattooing and my skin, even if it is far away, the scent of death, the scent of the burning of the skin, the rawness, that decaying. Maybe Buddha took one of the 114 to 118 ways of enlightenment. Everybody is doing their own sadhana towards enlightenment. Buddha chose one of the many happenings in the system. One of the many happenings is when you love from the heart somebody, and that person falls out because the body cannot hold the spirit anymore. Finally, the spirit is free so miraculously, and then you are suffering death. You are suffering somebody else their death, but you are not dead. You are alive, but you are suffering somebody else death because you are in pain that this person is not there or not going to be there. Even now this person is there, you are in pain for the death this person is about to encounter. Do not fuck this process up. Every one of you living creatures out there, when something dies, there is a certain way handling that. So when I talk, take for granted emphases. Take for granted my tone. Take for granted the F word. Take for granted that when you see my ego, that is a tool. Take it for granted. You can always comment and say to me anything you wish. But everything I speak out of my mind is out of my perception, that comes out of my experience. And every time I have spoken about, and now there's a new second gone, and a new second coming, and a new second coming. Every time I have spoken is a lie. All my words only are trapped in the moment I say it. After that moment, the change has happened because something filled up. I have said something about that, that. So yeah, I try to cultivate my F words. I try to put emphasis in my tone, for I have not yet controlled enough these abilities as these gifts. Yeah, when the fire element comes up, let it come up. For everybody, when it comes up, be very skillful about it. Been very aggressive. I think I still am. The fire element needs cultivation, so I need my certain habits. So to put this system into a mindful state, give me a gun, put me in an army, I will kill everybody. Every time that comes out, chai. This is that part of me that have no empathy. That is a part of it. So I have no tears for when I would kill something because it is divine intervention at that moment. Even my ignorance would be there to kill somebody, accompanied by the ego. If I have to, I will. You know, nobody in the East, in the West, in the world are killers by birth. And yet we are all killers by birth because of the necessity.